Welcome to Pending and Trending. I am your host, Deidre Quinn, and this podcast is all about helping real estate agents stay ahead in today's fast-moving market. With over 20 years of experience and a passion for building relationships, I bring you the latest tips, trends, and strategies to elevate you and your business. Whether you're looking to dominate a niche, stay sharp on industry shifts, or build your own generational wealth, you are in the right place. Let's get to it, because what's trending today can get you pending tomorrow. Welcome back to Pending and Trending. Today's guest, Bob Lachance, is the founder and CEO of REVA Global, the leading virtual assistant staffing company for real estate professionals. A former professional hockey player, Bob spent 8 years on the ice, dividing his time between teams in the United States and Europe. After retiring from hockey, he transitioned to real estate and acquired his first flip in 2004. Over the course of his career, Bob has successfully closed over 2,200 transactions, including over 180 in 2023 and over 200 in 2024. He's also the co-founder of PurchRock, a real estate investment firm in Connecticut. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm super excited for our conversation.
All right. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's just dig right in here. And now, how did you transition from being a professional hockey player and to real estate and where you are now?
The transition was a must transition because I did not finish college. I actually signed my first pro contract with 2 classes short to get my degree. So when I retired, I had to jump into an industry that had 0 barriers of entry. So real estate was it.
All right. Okay. And what kind of challenges did you face just going into the real estate industry?
There's a lot of professionals outside of real estate that are always thinking about joining real estate, because real estate it's everywhere, right? You're driving down the street. It's in the papers, it's in the news, it's pretty much everywhere. And the majority of people I know have always either dreamed about getting into real estate or have thought about it somewhere along the line of their journey outside of what we do. And so for me, when I was looking at the challenges, it was deciding to jump into something that I knew nothing about. I knew nothing at all about real estate. I played professional hockey for 8 years, so I was in the locker room, literally a hockey locker room for 8 years. And the individuals I was with, we weren't talking about, hey, this is what's happening in the real estate market. We weren't talking about mortgage rates. We weren't talking about what does hard money look like? What does FHA mortgages look like? I didn't know any of that stuff. So the challenge for me was actually learning a whole new industry to jump into with because you remember back then we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have the free resources that we have today. This was again 2004, so we're going all the way back. We didn't have the same resources that we had. A lot of these real estate companies now, the brokerages out there, have way better training today than they did back in when I started.
It's changed totally. If you look back to 2004, and we were doing everything with carbon copies and fax machines back then, and here we are now with AI and all the things we're doing with that. So absolutely, it sure has changed. Bob, I want to talk about, you've done great things with virtual assistants, and that's something that a lot of our listeners right now are really either interviewing, training, really digging in and using VAs to scale their business. So I'd love to hear more about that and how you train them and the systems behind that, and how they can help our listeners scale.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's in different parts of their businesses, right? I know you have newer agents coming on. They're in a little different spot than someone who's been in business for over 10 years, right? And through the years, we go through different stages of our business. When you're brand new, you're like, all right, how do I get my first listing? Or how do I find my first buyer? How do I find them a house? So it's really setting up at the beginning, you're setting up all your systems. And then when you hit a certain level, you're saying, all right, listen, I don't have any more time left in my day, so I need to add someone to my team, right? And you go through little iterations, and you have the top agents out there that have multiple VAs that handle a lot of different parts of their business. One of them that's very important is social media presence, right? We need to be out there, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's wherever it is, if it's TikTok, it's YouTube channels, etc. It's getting our brand out there, right? Are we posting every day? Are we just like this? Let's use a perfect example. So after we're off this call, you're probably going to get this edited and you're going to take little clips and you're going to put them out to Instagram, you're going to put them out to LinkedIn, you're going to put them out everywhere, Facebook. So you're going to post those everywhere and you don't do a thing, but your brand is out there,
That's right.
right? Which is very important for all agents. And that's actually a really good task that you use the virtual assistants who actually do in our own business, because we only have so much time in our day. And what's the best use of our time? We call them income producing tasks. What actually makes you the money? Is it posting stuff online? That doesn't put money in our pocket. What puts money in our pocket is meeting with sellers, meeting with buyers, right? Meeting with attorneys. We're looking to talk to mortgage brokers that may be able to refer us business, et cetera, et cetera. But the tasks that don't put money in your pocket today, but are extremely important, are examples like marketing and branding. Also, transaction coordinating. That'd be another one, right? We could talk tasks all day long, but the point is, it's what are those tasks that do not put money in your pocket?
So you named a couple already, but just give me 5 off the top of your head that you would say are great tests for a VA to take over for a busy agent.
Yeah, outbound lead generation is one of them, right? It's going direct. You could go, there's a lot of online stuff that you could actually do. I know a lot of agents buy leads, so your virtual assistant could do outreach to those leads. They could also manage listing packets. They could manage your show time, showing coordination, transaction coordination, onboarding, recruiting, because I know there's a lot of individuals that have certain types of structures with different real estate companies, right? Where they could also recruit other agents on and get overrides, etc. Yeah, again, I think I just meant giving you 10 different tasks right there.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then now you actually train them before they even get to the agent. Is that right?
We do. We do, yeah.
And what
Yep.
does that look like? How do you do that? What kind of program do you put them through? What do they come out being trained in?
Yep. Yeah. So just like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I actually started this company because of a need. So I first got my license back in 2005, and I also do both. I do the retail side and I also do the investing side, which for me, I think those go hand in hand. I don't know if Deirdre, do you ever do any investing? Maybe buying and holding it all, fix and flipping?
Some. Yeah, sure, some.
Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity for every real estate agent out there to do a hybrid of both, because there's a lot of opportunity that comes to our brokerages, right? If someone has a house that needs a lot of work, why not learn how to fix and flip a house? Because you could buy it, get a commission, fix it, and then resell it and get another commission. So there's a lot of different opportunities for us agents. Another one I see a lot of my friends going back 20 years that are licensed agents that have a huge portfolio of properties, right? They start with one property, they get some cash flow, they buy another. Before you know it, you have 200 plus properties that you own. And then that morphs into probably starting a property management company. So there's a lot of stuff that starts with us as licensed real estate agents that you could use your real estate license for.
And the paths are endless, aren't they? If you really think about it, how many different paths you can
Yeah.
travel in the real estate world.
And everyone has a story. There's no, where you start today is not where you're going to end, because if you start as an agent, you may continue to grow and then you may want to start a brokerage at one point. Who knows, right? So that the paths are endless. You could start a property management company, you could start a real estate investing arm. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Going back to me, I started as a real estate investor, got my real estate license. I jumped into the education world, and I also fixed, flipped. I did all of that, short sales, lending money. I did a lot of different stuff. And then I also, through the years, I realized that us agents, us investors, we need help on fulfilling those tasks. So 2014, that's when I started my first virtual assistant company. So my point is, where you start, you have no idea. You're not going to end exactly where you start. That's the beauty of what you do, Deirdre, what I do, and what collective real estate individuals do.
And it's all about growth and taking the next step and building that generational wealth.
You need help. You need help. You need your team, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you train your VAs in all of those different aspects? And when someone comes to you and says, "This is what my business looks now. This is where I want to be," and tell us a little bit how that would look.
Yeah, so a little bit of, I'll give you a little background of how we do things. Like we have all my virtual assistants are in the Philippines, and we have a recruiting and sourcing team out there. So we're getting thousands of applications that come in every single month. So we have a team that sifts through them. And the reason why that's very important is because for everyone who's hired virtual assistants on their own, there's a little pain that you go through on sifting through applications. It's kind of like if you want to hire someone, Deirdre, in your own office right now, you have to look through application after application. You have to take the time to interview them. It's just very, very time consuming. And what happens if you hire someone that's not a right fit? Then you got to you have to start and
Do it
do it
all over again.
all over again. It's just very challenging. So we handle that part, and then as soon as they get through the application process, only about 5% of them get through the application process. And that's a very good thing because we sift through all of those hundreds and hundreds that don't fulfill what we're looking for because we know what our clients need. Then they get to our training team. So they train from anywhere from building buyers lists to cold calling to marketing to transaction coordinating to branding to social media. So there's a number of things that we train our virtual assistants on. So when they get out at the other end and they graduate, then we know who to place them with in reference to clients. So that gets to our placements department. So we have sourcing, recruiting, training. We have our placements team who matches them up. So if you want a VA that wants, I don't know, that is good at editing, that's our job is the placements team to match them up with the task that you want. And then it finally gets to our operations. So we have what we call client service managers that actually manage the relationship between you and the VA. So if you need to hire another VA, you have any questions, you go right to them on top of the virtual assistant.
That's great. So I know with a lot of agents, okay, and they have trouble giving up different pieces of what they do,
Yeah.
right? They control everything. They're a one man band, and that's what they that's what they're used to doing.
And that's normal.
However,
Yep.
it's difficult to scale when you're doing that, and it's difficult to grow. So,
Mhm.
I guess what advice do you have for somebody in that position? And do they start with somebody full time, part time? What advice do you have, and what steps should they take first?
Yeah. I would first start looking at what I do on a daily basis, right? It'll take about 2 weeks to start looking at all the tasks that you do, and you'll see very clearly the tasks that you do that do not make you money, right? I'll tell you what, when I really focused on this back in 2005, I door knocked for a year straight. Now, door knocking is not fun. It's not fun. The beauty of what we have today, though, is we have different meetings that we could go out and find them. That's why Zillow sells leads. So agents
Right.
can buy them, pick up the phone and call them. So for instance, virtual assistants fantastic at doing that outbound because for me, I know I was exhausted. So I door knocked, I'd come home. So I would get a pre-foreclosure list and I would door knock it. I would come home, I would skip trace those doors that I door knocked on, and then I would call. So I'd door knock from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., come home, skip trace, and call till about 7. Now, after a while, you get tired, you get burnt out, and you want to quit this. You want to quit the sport of real estate at that point. So, what I recommend is looking at exactly what I did, and you'll know right away what you can outsource to somebody else. Social media is another one that you could outsource, which is tiring because I know for me, when I started this, I'm like, I was so excited about, I want to get my brand out there. I want to keep posting. So what I found is, I would post on Monday, post on Tuesday. I get a call from one of my buddies, be like, hey, let's go golf. And I'd be like, I really want to golf, but I got to post. I got to do this branding stuff. Well, I would go golfing, and then I didn't do it that day. Then I would have a listing showing the next day. I wouldn't do it again. So before you know it, you do not have a consistent social media presence anymore. So that's
Right.
another perfect task to do. So you'll realize all those things that we know that need to get done on a daily basis, that do not. Prospecting is another one. That's a very tiring task to do. We all have to continue to prospect every single day in our business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I love it. Basically, you use the VAs and hiring VAs to leverage your time. Am I correct
Mhm.
with that?
Yep.
To scale and do the things that are going to bring the funds.
Yeah, and there's some other examples too that we could talk about. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we get into in reference to like lead management and how that works and flows. So as we go on, I could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, go you jump in there. Go right ahead. Let's. Why don't you do that right now?
Yeah, so we have clients that are both in real estate brokerage side of it, and or have a brokerage, and that are also agents. So one of some of the tasks that they do, they have the VA check your email every single day for any documents that are their clients send them. And then every time they have a new listing, because they have a team, then they enter the listing in the MLS. So they'll check emails or open emails. They'll work through all of the documents. Then they'll prepare documents for listing. They'll do some skip tracing, and they'll also do some things like weekly newsletter and edit videos. So these are some of the tasks that our VA here in our office just does for us. They're really cool. And we have all of the process written out step by step. So if anyone's interested in, they can just plug into our system as well. Pretty cool.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so you talked a little bit about investing earlier, and I want to
Mhm.
dig into that as well. And the VAs really can help in on that side too, as well, right? So you can have
Correct.
VAs assisting with that leverage as well. So let's talk about the investment and how PurchRock, is it PurchRock LLC?
PurchRock. Yep.
And how that, just tell us about that. Tell us what it is, tell us what you do, and tell us how it can help our listeners build wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do, again, our virtual assistants do a lot of lead generation, and they do all of our posting online. So I use what we do here as well, Deirdre, as a lead generator for my real estate company. So what we'll do is we'll cut up all these clips and we'll post them all over the place. So that's one of the things we do. We do that every single day, like two to three times a day. And what they also do is they do some outreach. They handle all of our direct mail. We have a list provider that they actually, so what we do, so let me take a step back. We do our real estate companies in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania. Mostly right now. We were down in Florida back about a year ago, and then we decided just to focus in up here because up in the Northeast, there are properties that are going pretty quick. So we're in a pretty cool little area here, and there's a lot of demand still. And I know places in Florida, this is just, we're a little different than Florida because Florida, they went through the roof. And now what's happening is there's a lot of property that's flooding the market. So stuff's been
Right.
sitting for a lot longer. For us, it's still a very good market. And we have our virtual assistant go direct to seller with different types of marketing campaigns that we do. We were doing some TV slots. We were doing a lot of SEO, a lot of online, a lot of PPC. So all of those leads that our VAs are driving into our sales floor here, we have about 9 individuals that are following up with motivated seller leads. So it's pretty cool. And what they do at that point is we get them on our contract. We do a mix between fix and flip assignments, things like that, all over the place. And we also get a lot of leads into our brokerage. So we look at everything as a one-stop shop and where we can service the client. Because if
Right.
they want a certain price range, it may be retail. If they want a certain price range, it may be a good opportunity as an investor to buy it, get them what they need. And a lot of properties that we get, which you see as well, need a lot of work.
Hmm.
And it's very difficult to sell those properties on the open market when, maybe you're dealing with a hoarder house. Maybe you're dealing with someone who just doesn't want the open public walking through their house. So we have that option as well. And I think a lot of your listeners can do the exact same thing that I just laid out. When they have property that comes there, they could offer a couple different things, right? They could offer to maybe purchase their property at a quick sale price that gets a seller what they want. Maybe they want to move down south before, I don't know, before the snow comes, and they want to be out this month rather than waiting 6 months. A lot of different things that you could do.
And say you come across somebody that's underwater, about to lose their property. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, same thing you could offer. So over the years, we've compiled a lot of great relationships, hard money lenders that are ready, willing, and able to give you the funding. Instead of a regular mortgage, it's somebody that's a private individual. Could be your aunt, could be your uncle, could be Jim down the street that has X amount of funding to where if you get a very good deal that they'll give you all the money to purchase it. So I would recommend as an agent also have those connections, right? Whether it's a private money lender, a hard money lender, have those connections in your back pocket.
Absolutely. It's all about connections, isn't it?
Yep.
So you also use VAs to help you in both of your businesses. And
Hmm.
then you help agents and perhaps people in other businesses with getting VAs, having training them in their business. About how long would you say, like, how long do VAs stay with the average agent or the average person? Do they tend to stay for a long time, or is there a high turnaround? Do you have any information that you could share on that?
I know that our company has the highest rate of staying with a client. I think that's very important. I look at my own company as well. We have VAs on our team that stay well over a year, 2 years. Some have been with us for 4 years. So it all depends. I'll give you a perfect example. It's if you hire somebody here in the United States and you never know. Maybe someone just gets married. Maybe their spouse wants to move. Maybe there's a lot of stuff that happens. So it's really the same, but that's a very good question. For us, it's well over in my own business, there's some, like I said, over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4+ years.
Excellent, excellent. And then what is the cost range as far as obviously you have people at different skill sets, right? So are they doing data entry or are they actually
Yeah.
producing your video
We
content?
keep we keep it standard. Yeah, we keep it very standard. I tried all the tiers as a company. I've tried everything. I've tried 10 hours. I've tried just per hour. I tried part-time, full-time. Like I said, I started this over 11 years ago, and I've tried everything. So we came to the conclusion that it's part-time and full-time that we offer, so 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week, and it's a standard $10.60 an hour. You start looking at minimum wage in a lot of these states. Connecticut, I just checked minimum wage. It's over 16 bucks an hour to hire someone at minimum wage in Connecticut. So I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. So it's an absolute bargain when you work with virtual assistants for a fraction of that cost. Because a lot of the states, it's not going down. You're never going to go down on minimum wage. You look at the government today, everything keeps going up and up. So it's a huge opportunity.
It sure is. It sure is. Now, I would tell you, I imagine I get a lot of emails. I imagine all
Yep.
of our listeners get a lot of emails from VAs looking for work on their own. What
Yep.
would you caution agents and others as far as, and what are the benefits of going with a company such as
Yeah.
yours versus hiring somebody that's coming to them that they're going to be interviewing and talking to on their own?
So I get same thing. I get VAs come to me all the time. But one of the things that I realized, because I tried that at the beginning, and what they're doing is they're always moonlighting. So they're trying to work with three, four, five different companies at one time. And one of the things that gets very challenging is to say, hey, are they working or not? What are they doing? What are the tasks that are doing? So we have those systems in our own business where we created these tools that they have to check in, and so we know exactly what's going on. They send
Oh,
us. We also have client service managers that manage them within
mhm.
teams. So they also have to send an end of day report, and they talk to them on a daily basis and make sure that they check in, they check out, etc. There's a lot of things that we all have to look out for when you go get virtual assistants yourself. And there's some of the things that we do as a company to make sure that doesn't happen. Because I failed a lot before I started my first company.
Hey, we fail forward, right? Look how far you've come.
Absolutely. No, and it's great. But here's what I do recommend. No matter what, I would tell people you have to work with virtual assistants nowadays because the cost of labor here in the United States is just it's getting too high. It's getting through the roof. So just try it out. I would just say
Yeah.
whether you work with us or find a virtual assistant, I would just highly recommend that us as small businesses, for us to be successful, we have to look at that.
Excellent. That's excellent advice. And is there one thing that you would advise our agents other than working with a virtual assistant that would propel them forward?
I would say it's very important to work with a team and work with other like-minded individuals. But when you work with a team, work with the right people. You want people that'll pick you up, don't bring you down, don't kick you down, because when you hit a certain level of success, that's when you run into crabs in a bucket. People try to bring you down. So make sure you have the right people on your team. And also the culture in your office is very important. If you don't like the culture of your specific office, you could always move to a different brokerage or just distance yourself, because life's too short and the winners in this world want to help other winners.
Love that. Love that. That's a perfect quote right there. Winners in this world want to help other winners. I really like that a lot. And how can our listeners find you? And can you just tell us about, I understand you have a free resource, a free download that our listeners can download if they'd like to dig in and learn more about REVA Global?
Yeah, it's a 100-task list. You could go to our site, revaglobal.com. If you want to talk to our team as well, you could set up a strategy session with them. But like I said, you could go right to our website. You could check us out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So we post all there on a daily basis. Again, I don't do it. My virtual assistant team does it. No, but it's important just to be out there all the time. Be in front of the public. You have to always be out, because that's what separates you from everybody else.
That's excellent. So we will certainly make sure and promote that. I appreciate that download. Do you have any last piece of advice that you want to add before we close out?
I would say step out. And nowadays, if you actually work and put the effort into it, you will jump ahead of your competition, because we're in a day and age that people don't work hard enough. So if you are one of the lucky ones that work hard and that have the passion for it, just do that extra hour of work every single week and you will jump ahead of the competition.
Great advice again. Great advice again. That's a wrap with Bob Lachance, former pro hockey player turned real estate powerhouse. His journey is proof that with systems, leverage, and the right team behind you, you can scale faster and live freer. Don't forget to grab his free tools at revaglobal.com. Thanks for listening to Pending and Trending. I'm Deidre Quinn, your guide to what's moving the needle in growth and wealth. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and join me next week for another powerful conversation. That's a wrap on this episode of Pending and Trending, where hot meets what's happening in real estate. If you found today's conversation helpful, we'd love for you to hit follow or subscribe, leave a quick review, and share the episode with fellow agent or industry pro. Got a trend, tip, or hot take we should be talking about? Send it our way, and we might feature it in an upcoming episode. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay sharp, keep your transactions in motion, and let your energy keep trending.